we're back for part 3 because we realized that we missed some very important differences between the movie and the book. To jump off, we don't get any information about how Snape was involved with Harry's dad when they were at Hogwarts. And they completely, like, leave out that, Potter saved his life. Mm-hmm. So Snape was, like, secretly kind of watching out for Harry because he felt like he owed him. Anyone else want to jump in on that?
Yeah, and they don't go into it in Chamber of Secrets. You don't get the answer until Prison of Azkaban.
You don't even get the full answer. There's always more and more and more you learn.
Mm-hmm. These books had to be so torturous to read in real time.
They were awful. Waiting for book 5 to come out, I was pulling my hair out. And then 6, even worse, 7, I knew I was going to cry. I just was crying because I knew I was going to cry because it just would not happen. It was awful. It was awful.
So that was a thing that really disappointed me about the movie, is that we don't see any of, like, Snape's humanity at all. Like, none of that is explained. And Madeline made a good point. She said to me the other day that the books weren't done being written when the first movie came out. So maybe even J.K. Rowling didn't really understand the significance where she was going with Snape's character. And I didn't think about that. So that might have been why it wasn't included. But it was like, that's a big thing to leave out in that part. Mm-hmm. And also related to that is the whole Neville going into the Forbidden Forest with Harry and company. In the movie, that doesn't happen either. Neville is not on detention with them. But feel free to jump in. I don't want to be talking.
Jumping off of what you said about she hadn't written them yet, I have the Blu-ray special edition, and the first one, or the second one, I can't remember, I think it was the first one, J.K. Rowling and Christopher Columbus, who was the director, was saying that they only put important things in the movie, but the other books hadn't been written yet, so they don't know what's important. So maybe the whole Snape, Potter saved your life may not have been important. They didn't see that as important, so they didn't add it. And unfortunately, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So, same thing with Neville. Neville ended up being a very important character, and she may not have even known that Neville was born at the same time as Harry, and maybe that came later, so they just didn't put Neville in.
Better.
Exactly.
Because J.K. Rowling didn't even know the histories of these characters. Yeah. And that's what makes them so authentic.
Yes.
She didn't know them either. And she was getting to know them too.
Yeah. They do take on a life of their own. And the fact that that Neville was almost the other... Neville is essentially Harry in an alternate universe.
It really is.
And the fact that that is emphasized in the book without the reader, and clearly even the author knowing that, is really, really interesting. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, why, I guess, yeah, okay.
What I like, too, is we were talking about the infirmary, how they're at the end of the book, and Dumbledore's the one to tell all that to Harry about Snape.
Yeah. And
Harry's just bewildered, talking about how he hates Snape and Snape hates him and makes his life miserable. And Dumbledore's the one that softly and gently tells him, people act that way sometimes. And he's, for the first time, getting such a father figure. That was depicted in the movie. Yeah. It was more like a father figure, but not to the depth of how fatherly, how fatherly he was, because he was explaining why people are bad sometimes.
It's shocking how well adjusted Harry is for the family life that he comes from. And it's completely understandable why he immediately grafts on to, like, the Weasleys and Dumbledore and some of his other professors, that they are this family that he's never had before, and to get that history. And that, like, that Mirror of Erised scene was so sad to me. Mm-hmm. Like, looking in the mirror and seeing your family for the first time. Imagine never seeing your parents, or your extended family for that matter. And then you look in this mirror and you're like, oh my god, that must be who that is. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't understand how that would change someone psychologically.
Yeah, I remember crying for the first time when I read that book. When I was a kid,
sweet.
I cried. Yeah. Because I'm like, how would I never know my sibling or my parents or anything like that? And as a child, to have it be that relatable, but again, as we mentioned before, not too dark.
Right.
It's genius.
Yeah. These books really, again, as someone who's very still new to the series, like, J.K. Rowling is a fantastic author. Like, she has a gift. She deserves her money.
And you know what, you saying that, Harry's so well adjusted makes me so excited for you to read the series, because humans fluctuate, and Harry's going to fluctuate, but I'm so excited for you to see how he fluctuates and readjusts, and Hermione readjusts, and how the characters change in development as well, because they're becoming teenagers.
Mm-hmm. And some of that maybe maladjustment doesn't come out until later. Yeah, that's very true. I'm excited. I love character-driven plots, and this isn't just a character-driven plot, which is so crazy. Like, there is really good plot sequences happening, but yeah, I like growing with characters. Anybody else have anything to add?
No.
No? The earwax?
Yeah, alas, earwax is like one of my favorite quotes ever in this book, and it's so silly, and I think that's why I like it, because they just got done talking in the book about why Snape's awful and why he couldn't kill Harry and all this crazy stuff, and Quirrell was this and the stone's fine but Nick is dying and all this stuff. Alas, earwax!
Yeah.
Because that's just Dumbledore. How many things has he seen? It just provides depth of character in 3 words. Of, I was able to discuss this like it's nothing but everything. Alas, earwax.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's just, and she does that in a little bit in the beginning of the book on how humor just happens. When Ron's uncomfortable, he turns to say something humorous, or he changes the subject, or Malfoy, he changes the subject and just gets mean, and just, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. All right. Now conclude our podcast.
Until part 4.
We'll see you for the next book.